What up, YouTube? I'm coming back at y'all with another video. You see this red Corvette right here next to me. This one actually has an issue with the hood latch assembly. When it was at the dyno, the tuner couldn't get the hood open, so he ended up having to break the handle off, long story short. So we're gonna go ahead and replace it for the customer, get it right for him. We got the new cable in from the dealer. It seems like the only place I can find it other than online, and I didn't wanna, waste time or anything getting it online and it be the wrong part. So picked it up from the dealer. It's like a $70 part. So we'll go ahead and show you guys the steps on what you need to do to get this replaced. As always, I already started disassembling and thought like, oh man, I should do a video on this. So basically, both cables go through the interior down underneath the brake booster there. And then one cable runs out. There's a plastic clip right there that it goes in. It actually runs behind the radiator, comes up. There's one more plastic piece on that side. So it actually dishes up under that trim piece there, and then it runs over and connects to that latch. So I marked both sides of the latch. I mean, you can see exactly where they went from the dust that was on there already. So it should be pretty easy to line the latches back up, but just in case, I like to just mark them with some erasable marker. So we got that marked up there. Got both latches removed on each side. They're just two 13 millimeters that hold them in. This ball here clips in, and then where it attaches on the back side is right here. Mark this, remove it, pop the ball out of there, and then push these two tabs in to release the clip. So now we'll get into the interior side. I haven't taken any of the interior apart yet. I just started in the engine bay. Let me grab the keys real quick. This is how the piece comes from the dealer. So it actually broke right here at the handle, and there was nothing to hold these cables in. So right now it's just the two cables. The handle and everything is out of it. But you can see kind of how it bolts up. The OBD bolts in right there, and then there's a few bolts that hold it to the chassis underneath. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get the old one pulled out. I was just showing you what the new one looked like, and then the cable actually goes through the firewall right here. You can see what I mean by they're just hanging down. The piece that actually holds these in place is what broke on the handle. So the handle still pulls, but the tab behind it doesn't lock into the clip piece. So what we'll have to do, we'll remove this interior panel right here. The trim just starts here, then you pull this panel out. So let's do that first. Right, so you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 clips that hold it into the interior. So we went ahead, popped those up. Just be careful you don't break none of them, because then you will have a floppy side panel or interior panel, and you never want that. So we got two 7s right here that hold the OBD on. So we'll remove those two 7s there, and then we got one 10 millimeter right here that holds this bracket on. So we'll go ahead and start getting those pulled out. Right under the OBD, there's one more 10 that holds that bracket on. So we got this one out over here, and then we got the two 7s out. So it exposes that last 10. So let's get that one removed. We got our bracket down. So this is what the handle piece looks like. This is the piece that broke right here. So it no longer held the cables into place. Not sure what happened, why it wouldn't release the hood after I installed it. I opened it a few times, but tuner couldn't get it open. He said he tried everything, so he tried to slowly remove it out of here, and then the piece just kind of disintegrated on itself. So yep, now you could see the cables run through the interior right here. So we'll probably get a flathead if we can't poke it through with our finger, but we'll poke it and pull the excess through the engine bay. Just like that, poke it through, and come out over here, and then we'll slowly pull the excess through. All right, so we got the old one out. It was actually a pain sending it back through this way. I should have pulled it through. Don't know why I didn't do that, but one step I did have to take regardless, since the lines run on the opposite side of the clutch reservoir. I just had to use my little pick tool and release this clip in here to be able to pull this part off of this metal tab. So you want to leave this off when you run the new lines through, but instead of pulling them out this way, we're going to push the new lines through. Since the latch is attached, we want to go ahead and start from the inside of the car and push our way out. So let's do that now. To make it a little easier, just lube this thing up a little bit. It'll be easier for you to lock it in place. But this is what we were looking at. This is essentially what we pushed through. We should have pulled it through, but it was already broken. So hey, it is what it is. It's already out. Let's get the new one going. All right, so it took a little bit, but I was able to fish the lines through. You just got to kind of follow the body line. Fish the longer one through first, and then the second one will follow. So we got the longer one coming through, and they do run under the clutch line in between the window washer fluid reservoir and the brake booster. So what we'll do now, we're gonna run this one along behind and get it set up over there just to make sure that everything reaches properly before we lock that grommet in place and then before we put the latch back down. We got the cable just running behind the radiator. We don't have it tied into any of the plastic clips yet, but what I went ahead and did, I pulled the slack on the ball, attached it to this latch on the lower side, and then now we'll go ahead and push this through to lock those two clips in place. We can get our bolts back in this latch, and then we'll start from here and make our way through onto the plastic clips to get everything connected. Put this little plastic trim back in place as well. All right, we got this latch connected, and then we got plastic trim piece in place. You can see it goes through the plastic trim on that side, so it runs behind the radiator in the front bumper, and then this one right here will actually tuck down and attach right there. So we got that in place, got that one in place. All right, we got the plastic piece in place. This line runs here, and then we got one more line. It attaches here, and then it runs back and attaches to the latch. So let's go ahead, get it hooked up to that part of the latch there. All right, ball's in place. Both tabs are locked on here. So now we'll go ahead, slide this back into place. Once we tighten it down, then we'll put this last clip in place. All right, we got this latch bolted in place. So what we'll do now, finish the rest of the interior, which we got 2 10s and 2 7s. 2 7s for the OBD. And you can see it's pretty much already up there in place, ready to go. All right, so we got 1 10 going in, the other 10. So let's go ahead, tighten those up, and then we'll put the 2 7s in for the OBD right here. All right, moment of truth. We got the hood closed, so let's go ahead, pop the hood. Bam. Just like that. Let's pop it one more time. Bam. Just like that. Woo, closes with ease. Doesn't pop back open. Let's go, baby. So now we'll put this piece of interior back in. It's not necessary to remove this. I know that was the first step I said, but if you can look, there's 1 7 right here. And I mean, just taking this out, it just gives you a little more leeway so you don't have to be climbing up under the dash, because it does kind of bulge out to hide this wiring over here. So it just gives you just that little extra room. If you ever wanted to know how to change the hood latch assembly on that, it's probably like a 45-minute job if you're mechanically inclined. If you've never done it before, the hardest part was getting the old one out since it was broken there. Remember, it comes in this way, not out that way. So that's where I messed up. All right, we got the piece of interior back in. Just make sure that this weather stripping goes on this side, because when you go to put this piece up here, it'll be on the top side of that weather stripping. So just make sure that gets pushed under. Here is the GM part number for the hood latch assembly, if you were wondering. All right, so that'll wrap it up for the video on the C7. Hopefully you got your hood latch cable removed and installed. No problems. Appreciate you guys watching. Like, comment, subscribe for more content to come.